Your main man coming back, baby, and we just been in the middle of a power outage for a few days here. The power just came back on for about 11 minutes. Thought we were situated, so I had some plans here to make a video for you guys, and I did not want to not do that. So we're gonna do a video for the pre-release for the Guilds of Ravnica. You can probably hear some of my neighbors in the background yabbering. You can hear a generator way back there, but I figured let me yank all this stuff out here at 6:04 right now on the East Coast. So it's getting a little bit dark out here. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. We're going to have this with the full support of lights, you understand. But at any rate, it's something that hopefully at some point when we have power back and the internet back on here for more than 11 minutes, we can get this uploaded for you guys. We did 2 pre-releases. One was Two-Headed Giant, and one was just like the midnight pre-release. I wasn't even planning on playing it, but my partner was like super excited about it. I was like, damn, that does seem funner than mugs. So I had to jump in on it. We'd evaluated Demir to be the best color pair, but by that time, all the Demir, they only let, I think, maybe 12 people in each color, 14 people in each color, something like that, 15 maybe. And Demir was completely sold out. We had picked Golgari to be the second best color. So I played Golgari, and I was quite happy with that. I was undefeated. In fact, you get up to a point where you you can split. Where the prize gets real high, and I actually faced my partner in that round. We both were going undefeated, so we decided we'd take a split, and we each got 8 packs of prize support on top of everything else. And it was super late; it was like 5 in the morning. So we were both very tired and didn't want to keep playing forever. So that's how that ended. But we both went undefeated. So here is how my deck lined up. I have it by creatures first. Let me tell you how many creatures we have here. All right, this 18 creatures is a Golgari build, and I have these in order of their converted mana cost. First, one Death Toucher from Black, Hired Poison. It's a little dark there. I apologize for that, but that is the light I'm working with. And then we have another. So we had 2 of these in our undefeated deck here. Then, again, this is Golgari. There's no white sources of mana at all in the deck, but it's split green and white. 2/2 Vigor is perfectly good. We like him. 1/1 Death Touchers are amazing in draft whenever you can pick those up, or not in draft, in sealed whenever you have those. They're great to run if you're in that color because they can trade off with something that's plain and simple higher cost. You can get your money back from them that way, and in the early game you might be able to stall someone out while you're waiting, or you can just get in there in the late game and ping them off for some damage when they have a horde of beautiful big fat stuff that you don't think they're going to trade, or they have to eventually trade because you're at 1. And I mean, you can slip through 3-4 points of incremental damage over the game with one, and then trade it out for a better value creature. There's Death Touch creatures are absolutely amazing, and we had 2 of the excuse me, a lot of pollen out. The Shield Mate Vigor, you can see there's 2 of those guys. So we liked him. Iron Shell Beetle, it's slightly better than a normal bear under most circumstances. It's okay, particularly if you have something with evasion. This deck wasn't, well, we didn't have that really, but still, it's good. You have a better creature +1/+1 counter, and he comes with 1/1, or at the worst, he's a bear. So it's all right. The Green Elf, she did a lot of good work for me. We had her in both decks. Both the decks came out very differently, particularly in the number of creatures you're running. She did a good job. Had it up to points where we could get her up to a 6/6. However, I had over 10 mana. So some of those games went long. This is really an MVP of the deck. The Crowl Harpooner, we had not one but the deuce. So this guy is great. He's an insect warrior. He's got a reach. He's got undergrowth. He's a 3/2 for 2 with reach right off the bat. That's fantastic. But for those that don't know what he does, when Crowl Harpooner enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target creature with flying. The creature has to have flying. that you don't control. Crawl Harpooner gets plus X plus 0 until the end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Then you may have Crawl Harpooner fight that creature. So if you had haste on him somehow, he'd still get that bonus of plus X plus 0, and he doesn't have to fight the flyer. Generally, when he fights most flyers, he dies. But I mean, who cares? You're going to kill off, even if with 2 creatures. If you have 3 creatures in your graveyard, you should be able to kill off every single flyer in the set. That gets to the ridiculous points. Where you're killing off like the black mythic Flample guy. But 2 of those were fantastic. But this deck was nothing but creatures and removal, and then creatures in the form of removal, Death Toucher for removal. Like, it was hard for my opponents to get any kind of board state in, and I was just like, and it was just more creatures. Because what did we tell you? We had 18, 19 creatures here. It was just like, and you learned for what you done wrong. Glowspore Shaman, she's pretty good. Generous Stray, it's okay. It replaces itself. Did not. We had it in the pool for the second one. Did not make it. Same thing with Hitchclaw Recluse. That didn't make it on the second deck. On this one, basically, it's made with a seeded pack, which is a pack from the guild you choose. So it had a pack that had nothing but Golgari cards in it. That means cards with like the Golgari stamp, like this one has, and cards that were dual colored. So cards that were green / black, or black and green, or cards that, like this one, had no symbol on them at all. So not even all the, say, black or green cards were available. If it had an Amir symbol on it as a black card, or if it had a Selesnya symbol on it as a green card, you couldn't get it in that pack. Spinal Centipede. I'm trying to pick it up. The art is really wicked on here. This is really the kind of thing. I've been sitting there. My partners are going to be running the Guilds of Ravnica Dungeons & Dragons game when that book comes out. We'll probably be doing that like in maybe late December. This is really kind of card when putting in his face, like, oh, look at this. This thing's fantastic. Like, for the flavor of it, very, very Golgari. Although it's not stamped Golgari. The Wild Ceratok. And then you can see the mana curve is pretty good. The Golgari Feinberger. This guy is absolutely fantastic. I mean, for 4, you're getting a 3/4, and then being able to pick up enchantment, or he really worked better in my second deck, but I'll tell you about that when we get there. But just being able to grab one of your creatures back from the graveyard, it really makes him fantastic. What is his name? Underrealm Lich, and he was fantastic for seeding up the graveyard, and he can be indestructible, though it does cost you 4 life. That can really be helpful. He almost got me milled out the first game, and I'll show you how we got rid of him. Vigorspore Worm. This is really a good card. I mean, just for limited, you wouldn't see this used anywhere else, but it's just a common. It's quite nice. It's really a souped up crawl worm from the old days. Izani Thousand Eye. This is we were able to sacrifice our Underrealm Lich and prevent us from losing a game, which was good, because we went 2-1 against that guy, and that could have changed things. And he did take a beating. The Lothric Giant. He didn't make it originally. Well, part of the game, I had a Prey Upon in here, and I sideboarded the Prey Upon out because it just wasn't working that well for this guy right here, and I didn't really need that much. Let me see. Let me go and get these. Now, everything we had here, we had 5 non-creature spells on the deck. 5. That's all. And they're all removal. Necrotic Wound. A card that I think in some commander decks would be quite good, because it does exile. And it gives -1/-1, so it's quite nice. Crushing Canopy. This thing is amazing, because so much of the non-black removal, or pseudo-removal, blue had the freeze card, and white had some exile type cards or pacify type cards. This just got rid of them. They got rid of those enchantments for you, and it hits flyers. You're going to have enchantments, or you're going to have flyers against you, almost guaranteed. Every time I played, I did. Every time I got this, I almost couldn't spin it fast enough. This thing was an amazing silver bullet in the deck. Crushing Canopy. Without it, I might not have I might not have gone undefeated. It was fantastic. We had one copy of Dead Weight, which got out of the color or out of the mana cost there. Undercity Uprising, it was good. It was essentially unconditional removal, except, well, I guess good issue, you probably lose a creature. You might lose a creature, depending, and then you swing it with Death Touch. But it for 4, it was okay. It wasn't amazing. I'd much rather have the split green-black card that gave a guy Death Touch or let you just kill a creature. It would have been much better, I think, in Undercity Uprising. Deadly Visit, we had this. Of course, you're going to run Deadly Visit. It's unconditional removal for 5. It is a sorcery, which is never great, but it has Surveil 2 on there as well, so that's a bonus. I mean, but even without Surveil 2, you're going to run this. I'd be happy to run it, but a Surveil 2 on top of that, I mean, that's pretty good. So then we look at the mana base, 17 lands. There were no mana accelerants in here, even though we had some heavy stuff. Didn't have much problem hitting it. Let's see here. We had a 1 Golgari Gilgate, so that was the only tap land we had, and then we had 9 forests, and I want to say 7 swamps. So that was our deck. We didn't splash or anything. We just didn't need to. I mean, you look at what I had here. It was good. Didn't need to splash. Could have easily splashed in some blue. Our Dimir stuff looked really good in the pool, and we had 2 or maybe 3 Dimir Gilgates. So, I mean, I kind of thought about it for a second, but I mean, it was just like, when you have creatures and when you have removal, you win. I mean, that's such a simple and strong formula for limited, whether it's a draft or sealed, but particularly sealed, because you don't really have an option and you have no ability to manipulate the cards you acquire. You just open up and, what can I do with this? So I think that's really, really an excellent strategy if you have the cards to pull it off. I'd take one of my cards and slide it over here. It is a Dead Weight, and I think it just got lost on someone's card. So I think I'm missing a slave. So, all right, here we go. Let's start off this one. We had no 1-drops on creatures. For creatures, we had 13 creatures. So this is a very different deck. 13 creatures. Is very, very different. What did I say, 18 last time? So it produces a different feel. But it produced whoopings, This deck and my partner's Dimir deck went 3-0-1. We had a draw with some new people we were playing, and when you're playing with new people, sometimes, they're a little slow on the play, and we just went to a time limit draw with them. That was our first game, unfortunately. So, that's really not where you want to be. But they were really nice people. So it was nice to meet them and talk to them, and I definitely prefer that. We played it was a girl who just moved up here, and I think it was maybe her brother. They'd come up from California, and then the next time we played like a father and a son who was like 10. So we were like being again that one went almost a time. We're trying to be real because we don't want to be those guys that like. Oh, you did that. I can't stand playing against that guy. It's like the kid made tons of mistakes. Like, no, good. Put that back in your hand and untap your mana. That's, and try this or whatever. Because his dad was an okay player, but his dad wasn't nearly at the level that Chris or I was at. And then he's trying to sit there and operate his deck and help his son out. So, we try to be real friendly. And they were nice. So, let's see here. The third game we played against some, guys that are down shot all the time, real good players, and we just dropped the hands on them. That game lasted like no time at all. We actually just ended up playing an extra one for fun after that with them, but we just put hands to them like they were meant to just be beat. That's all their life was for. And then the last team was some of our buddies who were talking that mad jank earlier, saying that he was saying, "Oh, I got the best partner." And I was like, "You don't have me. I'm not your partner, Larry. What are you thinking, Larry? Are you confused in that vacuous void of a brain you possess?" And he tried to decry my criticism of his foolishness, and the beating was his to be had. We basically got them down to a point. I remember I think they even had more life than us, and we were at 19 life because they opened up with a meeting on us, and I think we cost ourselves a little bit of life from maybe some different things that we needed to do to play that blackout. Um, and then I don't know if you guys have had that where the game's over, and the other team doesn't know it's over yet, but you know it's over because you've seen what's stacked up in y'all's hands and what's on the board and what y'all going to do. So we just kind of pounded out at the table. We had them. There's my little green elf. We had two of her. So she was pretty much omnipresent. She worked real well. Swarm Guild Mage. I think this maybe never came up. I think I maybe never drew it, or maybe I just drew it once and it died or something. Sometimes that happens too. District Guide. I think that's really a fantastic card. You can go grab a gate with it. So this is very helpful with mana fixing. Is in this deck, I'm playing Golgari, but I splashed in Selesnya. It's a pretty fair splash in Selesnya. I mean, nothing that has over one white in the cost, but there's a decent amount of white cards in here. So being able to grab that Selesnya Guild Gate, that was helpful. There you go. There's a white card. This is really a pretty decent card in limited. I don't know. Its ability don't quite work well enough where I think I want to use it anywhere outside of limited, but limited was fine. Beast Whisperer. This is something you have to resolve. Some destruction or a counter. You have to beat this in limited. Even with the fact that this wasn't a high creature deck, I would have loved it in the other one, but this is where he cracked it. This card will lose you the game, and well, I'll show you in a minute. Fine Broker. We went fishing for that Beast Whisperer more than once with these Fine Brokers, and they're just, when you can recur something back, it's so hard in limited because there's so few resources. It's like, yeah, you have to kill that thing 3 times. No, you can't. You can't kill it twice. No. The Rosemane Centaur. He almost didn't make the cut, but he does. I mean, he does pretty good work. Vigor Spore Worm. We had another one of him in this selection, but he didn't make it in. Hatchery Spider. This one I just opened out of my own cards. The one we actually ran in here was Chris's. He cracked it out of his cards, and he wanted to give that to one of our other buddies. So I had to go and grab one to show you what was going on there. This card came to me a lot. The Hatchery Spider came to me maybe 2 out of 4 games, but this one seemed to be about maybe 3, 4 games. I mean, we were getting this one a lot, and it did good work most of the time. I think sometimes it just got hit with removal, but this is pretty much the game when my man comes out. I mean, he's Convoke 5/7 with hexproof. I mean, what do you do against that? You're not going to get him with removal. We got in there with the Dead Weights. Dead Weights. These, I think, were the only solid black cards I had in the deck. These things are amazing, particularly with the Fine Broker, because you can pull these right out. It's like removal. Fine Broker, another Dead Weight, more removal. So, and these are great, post combat where you've knocked their creature down a couple of points, and then you hit the dead weight on it, and it's dead now. So that's kind of going to be two dead weights. These you want to grab. They're absolutely fantastic removal because you got to understand you're dealing with a lot of power 2 and power 1 creatures in a format like that, and even like a power 4 or 5 creature you can kill if you swing in, and you can use it basically as a post combat trick. So it's quite nice. Flower to Flourish. This is another good one. This deck actually had mana excel, mana fixing, all kinds of stuff. The Flower to Flourish. I don't believe. Maybe once we used Flourish, but I think all the other times we used Flower, and that Flower was very helpful. Assure and Assemble. Assure and Assemble again. One time we used Assemble, I remember, against the father and son combo. we were kind of late in the game, and you could play as an instant and put 3 2/2 green and white elf knight creature token of vigilance down. That's a board in a box right there. And you make your blocks and kill some stuff off. But usually it was a sure. A sure is amazing because you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, which stays there, so you've gained advantage off the card. But the creature gains indestructible in a turn, and it's an instant. So they would try to remove one of my threats, one of Chris's threats, and it'd be like bam, and they would not get to do that. And then that threat, which particularly if it was on Chris's side of the board, probably had flying, because he was running a lot of flyers in the mirror, and now an extra +1/+1 counter on that flyer, and now you're going to get learned about. Urban Utopia. This card is excellent in two-headed giant. It's an aura that enchants lands. When Urban Utopia enters the battlefield, draw a card. So it immediately replaces itself. It costs 2, 1 green, 1 other to put down. Enchanted land has tap, add 1 mana of any color. So it doesn't excel you, but it fixes you. Now, his deck was Dimir, but he splashed for 2 red cards. He had I dealt 5 damage, I think, to either any creature or any source. I can't remember, but it cost like 4 colorless and a red. So they were like late game, red sources to help us remove creatures, because we just want to get those creatures out of there. And this deck didn't have the creature removal, not nearly that the other one did, and he had a lot of the creature removal on his side. So those are two nice extra pieces of creature removal we had. So I was able to throw that one game on his lands, because my mana was straight at that point, and it also helped me to find it was extra that extra white mana source, which I might not have had, or maybe an extra black mana source. And we ran both the lockets for our colors, and this one didn't run the lockets in the other deck, the Golgorian Selesnya locket. These are fantastic. They're giving you mana early, and then you just cash them in and draw 2 cards. So it doesn't replace itself. It's like a legit card draw once it's like turn 8. So I really enjoyed having those. We had a Crushing Canopy in this deck as well. That's a card I absolutely think is fantastic. Helps get rid of the pseudo removal like this Luminous Bonds. So we, of course, ran a lot of those. Bad problem with these is it still allows a creature to convoke against you. So people were convoking on us, we're convoking on people, and of course we got two of that card. I'll show them both together. So that was a little part of my removal package. We opened up a little bit of black removal. We didn't get into the Gugar removal there, I don't think. We opened up a little bit of black removal, and for all the instant, he was playing Surveil, and he had the Surveil Snapcaster instant card in there. So we were able to get something back out of the graveyard, and even on a corner case with one card like that, it makes a lot more sense to give the stuff that surveils, and a lot of the cards that killed do surveil. The 4-drop instant that kills, we had that. The 5-drop sorcery that kills, you may even have 2 of that one. But they needed to be over in his deck because he could potentially get them back. Plus, it surveilled, and his deck was a surveil deck, so it made all the sense in the world to put those over there. But neither one of us had a huge number of creatures in our decks. But again, I mean, they other than a time limit draw, they went undefeated, so it's quite nice. The mana base was 1 plains, 6 swamps. I was able to get all the same artwork for my swamps. I'm a nerd like that. And I got most of the same for the forest, and 6 forest as well. There's a lot more green in my deck, but all of the other lands had green in them. All 4 of these lands had green in them. 2 of them have black, 2 of them have white. For the white, we have 2 Selesnya Gilgates, and for the green, we had a Golgari Gilgate and an Overgrown Tomb. So, of course, obviously, Overgrown Tomb is always welcome. We did, on the subsequent pack openings and such, we did great. I did great. For the I think it might have been, yeah, for the first night, for the prize packs I got off the first night, I got 3 Assassin's trophies, which is like mind-blowing. How do you even get 3 Assassin trophies out of that? But I think they really mixed their packs up, and they did 3 Assassin trophies. So, and I traded all those off when they were 25. We'll see if that was a good idea or not. But it was, to me, it was very nice because I got some great stuff that isn't going to go down. Like Chrome Mox and a Cryptic Command, a Walking Ballista, and he had a Tameo Planeswalker. So, it's quite nice. And I made a whole bunch of trades that night, too. There was, a lot of people trading stuff. The guy just wanted a bunch of foils. I love getting rid of, stuff like that because I can really care less about foils. But it was a real good night. It was a lot of fun. I definitely recommend anyone out there to go to your local game store and try it out. It all depends on your crowd. You don't want to play with like a bunch of serious dickheads. You want to play with people who are there to have a good time. You're there to have fun. And don't be that dickhead, man. Like you're just ruining someone's night, and they might not want to play Magic anymore because of you. And why do that? Make people feel welcome, feel happy, joke with them, have a good time. You might find people that later you're playing other formats with. I mean, my ideal commander, some of these other people playing commander. So me myself when I was in the 101s, or me and my partner were strongly encouraging people to come out on the commander nights. So I said again, there were some pretty cool people we met between the two. Only one guy I played that I was kind of like, come on, dude. But the hands were put to him at any rate, so it mattered not. All right.